more tracks. Let's go. Hi guys, welcome to Leave Reacts. Hope everyone's having a good day. I know I am. We are back with 2 more tracks and Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan. We're doing the first 2 tracks on side 2. We have done all of side 1, but the tracks today are going to be Meet Me in the Morning, and then Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts. About 13 minutes in total. Then next week will be the finale for this album. I'll wrap it up with the last 3 tracks. This is shaping up to be my favorite Dylan album, maybe. It's crazy. Side 1 was so good. It's very different for him, and he's always been personal, but this one feels super personal, like literally, you know. So I'm excited to hear this the second track, because I've heard a couple comments bring it up and say it's really good. So I'll link my Dylan playlist up there. You want to go watch some other stuff? We've done a lot. And don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'm in the doghouse right now due to a copyright strike, so all the engagement really helps. All right, Meet Me in the Morning. Bob Dylan, 3, 2, 1, go.
Meet me in the morning, 56 and Wabi Shop. Meet me in the morning, 56 and Wabi Shop. Honey, we could be in Kansas. By the time this love begins to thaw.
That bass.
This ain't the darkest hour, it's right before the dawn. This ain't the darkest hour, it's right before the dawn.
This one's got some swamp to it.
Little rooster crowing, there must be something on his mind. Little rooster crowing, there must be something on his mind. Well, I feel just like that rooster. Honey, you treat me so unkind. Well, I struggle through barbed wire, let the hay fall from above. Well, I struggle through barbed wire, felt the hair fall from above.
It's a great riff.
Well, you know I've even outrun the hound dog. Honey, I know I've earned your love. Look at that sun, sinking like a ship.
The lyrics are so good, bro. As always.
Look at that sun, sinking like a ship. Ain't that just like my heart, babe? When you kiss my lips.
Drummer's killing it. This album is so good, bro. Come on. I wish that would go on for another bar or two. That was excellent. I love when he goes full blues, man. He does it so well. Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts. Oh yeah, the lyrics for this one. Yeah, there we go. I got him. I remember. Y'all said to have the lyrics for this one.
The festival was over and the boys were all planning for a ball. The cabaret was quiet except for the drilling in the wall. The curfew had been lifted and the gambling wheel shut down. Anyone with any sense had already left town. He was standing in the doorway looking like the Jack of Hearts. He moved across the mirrored room, set it up for everyone, he said. Then everyone commenced to do what they were doing before he turned their heads. Then he walked up to a stranger and he asked him with a grin, "Could you kindly tell me, friend, what time the show begins?" Then he moved into the corner, face down like the Jack of Hearts. Backstage, the girls were playing five cards, stood by the stairs. Lily had two queens, she was hoping for a third to match her pair.
Uh-oh.
Outside, the streets were filling up, the window was open wide. The gentle breeze was blowing, you could feel it from inside. Lily called another bet and drew up the Jack of Hearts. Big Jim was no one's fool, he owned the town's only diamond mine. He made his usual entrance, looking so dandy and so fine. With his bodyguards and silver cane in every harem place,
Jim McGuinn.
He took whatever he wanted to and he laid it all to waste. But his bodyguards and silver cane were no match for the Jack of Hearts. Rosemary combed her hair and took a carriage into town. She slipped into the side door, looking like a queen without a crown. She fluttered her false eyelashes and whispered in his ear, "Sorry, darling, that I'm late," but he didn't seem to hear. He was staring into space over at the Jack of Hearts. I know I've seen that face somewhere, Big Jim was thinking to himself. Maybe down in Mexico, or a picture upon somebody's shelf. But then the crowd began to stamp their feet and the house lights did dim. And in the darkness of the room there was only Jim and him, staring at the butterfly who just drew the Jack of Hearts. Lily was a princess, she was fair-skinned and precious as a child. She did whatever she had to do, she had that sudden flash every time she smiled. She had come away from a broken home and lots of strange affairs, with men in every walk of life which took her everywhere. But she never met anyone quite like the Jack of Hearts.
I wonder who that is.
The hanging judge came in unnoticed and was being wined and dined. The drilling in the wall kept up, but no one seemed to pay it any mind. It was known all around that Lily had Jim's ring, and nothing would ever come between Lily and the king. No, nothing ever would, except maybe the Jack of Hearts.
Maybe.
Rosemary started drinking hard and seeing her reflection in the night. attention, tired of playing the role of Big Jim's wife.
So they're both Big Jim's wife?
Bad things, even once tried suicide. Was looking to do just one good deed before she died. She was gazing to the future, riding on the Jack of Hearts. Lily took her dress off, buried it away. As your luck run out, she laughed at him. Well, I guess you must have known it would someday. Be careful not to touch the wall as a brand new coat of paint. I'm glad to see you're still alive, you looking like a saint. Down the hallway, footsteps were coming for the Jack of Hearts.
Uh-oh, run, Bob.
The backstage manager was pacing all around by his chair. There's something funny going on, he said, I can just feel it in the air. He went to get the hanging judge, but the hanging judge was drunk. As the leading actor hurried by in the costume of a monk. There was no actor anywhere better than the Jack of Hearts.
And there's a movie coming out about Bob Dylan soon, actually.
No one knew the circumstance, but they say that it happened pretty quick.
That should be interesting.
The door to the dressing room burst open and a cold revolver clicked.
Uh-oh.
And Big Jim was standing there, you couldn't say surprised. Rosemary right beside him, studying her eyes. She was with Big Jim, but she was leaning to the Jack of Hearts. 2 doors down, the boys finally made it through the wall.
His vocals are so good on this.
And cleaned out the bank safe, it said they got off with quite a haul. In the darkness by the riverbed, they waited on the ground for one more member who had business back in town. For they couldn't go no further without the Jack of Hearts. The next day was hanging day, the sky was overcast and black. Big Jim lay covered up, killed by a penknife in the back.
Uh-oh.
And Rosemary on the gallows, she didn't even blink. The hanging judge was sober, he hadn't had a drink. The only person on the scene missing was the Jack of Hearts.
Gone.
The cabaret was empty now, a sign said closed for repair.
Dude, this
Lily
instrumental's been steady the whole song.
The dye out of her hair. She was thinking about her father, who she very rarely saw. Thinking about Rosemary and thinking about the law. But most of all, she was thinking about the Jack of Hearts.
Wow. Harmonica. Yep. That song was the perfect vehicle to tell that song, or to tell that story. It really was. That was so good. That's one of those songs you have to pay attention to the lyrics, because there's so much to that. Like, he really did just retell an entire event with like details down, like talking about like a fresh coat of paint. You know what I'm saying? Like details. This man's meticulous in the way that he exhibits his material. Like it really is. It's astounding. The depths of this man's talent is kind of scary, bro. It really is. And his voice, like, that's what's even more deadly about this album, is his vocals are amazing. And he's spitting, bro. Like, he's never been more lyrically concise and to the point, and just like, especially in the last, like on the first side, he was going for some throats of some of that stuff. Like, he really was, bro. Bob does not play around. And it's apparent that this is like his most personal album, you know, even though a lot of them are, it's mostly all about him, you know, in a way. And this is so interesting. I'm gonna click on the thing. It'll probably tell me what it's about. I think somebody kind of said something about it last week in the comment section. It's about like an affair with, was it Jim McGuinn and his lady. I'm gonna click on it and see what it says. So Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts is an epic narrative ballad by Bob Dylan. It's known for its complex plot and nearly 9-minute running time. It is one of the 5 songs that Dylan initially recorded. So this is a re-recorded one, the one in Minneapolis. Okay. And then the second version, the one from Minnesota, is the one that made it to the actual album. So the main character, of course, is the Jack of Hearts, who has recently come into town with as a leader of a gang of bank robbers. The female protagonists are Lily and Rosemary. They're both referred to in royal terms. Rosemary is Big Jim's long-suffering wife and ultimately executed for his murder. Lily is a dancer who is Big Jim's mistress. Okay, so that's what it was. I was wondering. So they're both Big Jim's girl. All right. And also a former lover of the Jack of Hearts. Big Jim's the wealthiest person in town, but the lyrics describe Big Jim as a greedy man who destroys all that he touches. The hanging judge is a patron of the bar where the plot plays out, the cabaret place. The character is referred to as a drunk, but he is sober for when he kills Rosemary. So it takes place in the cabaret of an unnamed town, or in an unnamed town, where most of the residents Most of the residents with any sense had already left. The town's bank is being targeted by a gang of thieves led by an enigmatic figure called the Jack of Hearts. The Jack of Hearts appears inside the cabaret right before the show. So, I mean, I just want to know exactly... Okay, interpretations. Here we go. Okay, so Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts is an intricately evasive allegory about romantic facades that hide criminal motives, and the way one character's business triggers a series of recriminations from people he doesn't even know. Interesting. Dylan Scholar sees it as a Western ballad, the American Wild West, apparently. It's a superb song, a brilliant example of how to tell a story in a song. Exactly, that's what I felt too. The greatest story song yet written. That's what somebody said. So I'd say that was definitely Bob at his best. I guess I was making something up about thinking this was about somebody else. Or like something about like Jim McGuinn or something. I guess I read a comment and I shouldn't have listened to it. I don't know. They didn't really bring that up in the wiki. But what a great story though. You know what I'm saying? Like the way he said all that, like even within 9 minutes, that was a lot to tell within 9 minutes. Like that was a huge, intricate plot with moving pieces and different characters, and they have different motivations. He explained everything succinctly and right to the point for the most part. He did have some window dressing on some of the lines, but for the most part, I thought that was excellent. I'm trying to see. Okay, so Bob Dylan on lead vocals, and that's it. Chris Webber did acoustic guitar and 12-string guitar. Peter Ostraco? Let's see, it's so hard to... I don't know. I guess Bill Berg was on drums. Tony Brown on bass, or Billy Peterson. Greg Inhofer on piano, keyboards, Hammond organ. There's a lot of different people on here. But for the most part, the first one was a very blues-heavy song, which I really enjoyed. It was kind of like the perfect setup for the next song, since that one was very instrumentally heavy in a way, you know, with very heavy on the blues. And then it goes into this very long epic ballad that's 9 minutes long, that's telling this very intricate story. I think they run together very well, I think. And it's one of the benefits of doing these, you know, albums kind of like 2 songs at a time or something like that. You kind of see the chunks, then you see the pieces of the album, and then in total at the end you finally see all the pieces together instead of all at once, and you kind of lose the plot. That's the cool thing, like, about watching TV shows that would new episodes every week instead of like all of it being released at once, is you actually, you know, stay invested and you think about it all week, and then you can't wait for the next episode. That's kind of how I do these, you know, reactions with the albums and stuff. Some albums with the copyright, like I can, you know, with Bob it's hard because they're already kind of blocked halfway, so I can't do more than like 4 or 5, or the video will be blocked for 30 days and stuff like that. So it's all good, man. And Bob is so lyrically dense that it's kind of better. It's kind of good to take it step by step and like bite-sized morsels, because there's so much there that a bite-sized morsel of Bob Dylan is taking a huge chunk of dinner, basically. You have a lot to digest from that. that, you know. I've got a lot of stuff to think about, you know, because my mind always fills in the characters with my own life and stuff like that, you know, and it kind of threw me back to the days of when I was a troublesome youth, shall we say, getting up into all kinds of business. And I know the whole story of stealing the big guy in town's girl. I did that once or twice when I was younger. It's just that magnetic personality. How could they stop? You know what I'm saying? But no, but in all seriousness, I can always relate my life to Bob's experiences because he's lived a very interesting life. I have lived a very interesting life, and it's I don't know, man. It's very strange to hear your own life story being kind of, you know, sang back to you. And I've seen some interviews with Bob, and he doesn't like really listen to his own material or anything like that. I think that's what he said, you know. And he said some other things in that interview that kind of freaked me out. I'm not going to lie, but we're going to leave that one alone. He's a very interesting fellow. Been all kinds of places, met all kinds of people. And it's fascinating to hear him just tell it in the way that he does, because he's got so many different details and he goes back and forth and back and forth, but it's also a very consistent narrative going all the way through. You know, I think that's really cool. I don't think this would be my favorite song on the album so far. It was a very good track though, but this album's so strong to begin with that like Sad One, it's kind of hard to beat those songs. So I'm interested to hear the rest, but I think that was an epic in a way. You know, that was a Bob Dylan epic, and he's got tons of those. And it's another one to, you know, we're off the list now. So if you guys have any ideas what we should do next after next week, because I'm gonna finish up the album next week and we'll be going on to whatever album you guys think we should do next. So if you have any ideas, leave it down below. And what's your interpretation of that story? Because I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say, because I don't know. I can't really. Obviously there's that surface level, actually what the story, what he was talking about, but I feel like there's a lot more. As this phrase has been going around so much lately, there's more meat on the bone than I'm actually getting here. I feel like there's something I'm missing. I feel like there's a lot more to it, like, you know, underneath and like the subtext and stuff like that. But maybe it's one of those songs you have to listen to a few times to fully digest anyway, because I was really caught up in trying to read the lyrics and, you know, record a video. So it never actually, it's funny, it does me a disservice sometimes by doing these videos, because it's not fair to me to be able to, like, you know, it's my first listen, I'm trying to do two things at once basically. It's honestly harder than you think, you know what I'm saying? But I try my best to make it work, and always make it work for Dylan, because he's the best. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next week for the finale for Blood on the Tracks. See you there.